Welcome to the Life of Being podcast, where we talk about all things life from a healthcare perspective all around the world. I'm your host, Kelly Tan, and in each episode, we'll explore stories, science, and wisdom to help you live well, think deeper, and express life fully. Let's begin. Today we're excited to be having Dr. Javier Canales joining us from South Carolina. Javier is a 13th quarter chiropractic student from Sherman College. He is originally from Guaynabo, Puerto Rico. He has spent most of his time learning about the upper cervical region and had the opportunity to serve in 2 chiropractic missions trip in Guatemala and India. Now he's preparing himself to open his chiropractic clinic in Palm Bay in the upcoming October. Dr. Javier, welcome to the show.
Thank you, Doc. For me, it's a actual honor to be here in your podcast and just to be sharing a little bit of my story and to answer any question that you have.
Yeah, I'm excited to dive into your story because there's lots of different things that I'm interested to know in terms of your story, in
Yeah.
terms of your next plan also. So, shall we start by you sharing your story in terms of how you got into chiropractic? Why did you choose to Sherman College, and also your learnings over here, and your lifestyle and everything?
Yeah, absolutely. So I think my story is a little bit different. A lot of the people tend to say, "Oh, I got my first adjustment from my chiropractor, and then I decided that I want to become a chiropractor," right?
Yes.
So my story, I wanted to become a chiropractor without even getting adjusted, so which is interesting. Long story short, my dad, when I was in, I think this was college, no, first year of high school, so like thing junior kind of thing. He was like a very healthy guy. He was like in shape. He did CrossFit. He was like a basketball referee and everything. And I remember when I went to college that first year, he told me, "Oh, whenever you turn 18, we're gonna have a conversation and you can ask me whatever you want about my life and everything." My dad was a little bit of on the serious side of things, so he didn't share his story and stuff, right? I do remember one time I was driving to the college and then I received a phone call from the mother of my older brothers. And she said, "Did you know what happened to Javi?" His name was Javier also. And I was like, no, what happened? And she said, "Well, he just had a heart attack out of a sudden and he didn't wake up." And my whole world, just dropped. My heart just went completely broken. It was just like an awful experience. But I was like, man, like he was super healthy. He was super active. He was like he was taking care of himself. Like what was going on, Like he was the health representation of what we know, like someone that works out, takes care of himself, eats healthy and everything. And there was a job fair. I went and someone talked to me about chiropractic. And I was like, okay, this is interesting. And they started saying yes, because the nervous system is what actually controls every single function of your body. And I was like, okay, what? Tell me more. So we started diving a little bit. He started explaining me about the philosophy of chiropractic and everything. And I was like, man, my dad went to all the doctors. He went to all the nutritionists. He was doing all the exercises, but he never went to a chiropractor. And I was like, what if there was a civilization and, he was not working as his 100%? So I just started researching a little bit more, started to go to a lot of dinners with the doc just to hear a little bit about chiropractic, but I didn't have the opportunity to actually go to a chiropractor until I visited Sherman College. And I was like, you know what? I'm about to graduate. Let me go to schools that I'm interested. And the first one in the, route that I already planned was Sherman College. I came.
Wow.
And I just fell in love with the community and everything. It was just like amazing. I heard the president speak. I heard the philosophy. Everything just started making sense. And I was like, you know what? I don't need to see any other college. This is the one for me. I'm gonna sign up. I want to become a chiropractor, and I will be. After that, my girlfriend in that time, she told me, "Well, you have never been adjusted." So we found a chiropractor. She signed me up for care, and I just started getting adjusted, and it was just,
Yeah.
crazy
Wow.
thing there. So yeah.
Wow, wow, wow. With your journey, was there anything that has changed your mindset in between? Or is there something that you felt like, if I knew this earlier, this will be much better in a way?
Yeah, I will say like at the beginning, as always, depending on your or how you start with the chiropractic, you tend to hear chiropractors that start working on your shoulder or start doing cupping or TENS units or whatever. They're more like a PT. So I was like, maybe this is chiropractic. I want to work with that. I want to work with athletes. I want to just help people. So this is chiropractic. Whenever I came to Sherman, that they started explaining like, no, 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 chiropractic is more. Like chiropractic is just working with the nervous system. I was like, oh wow. So literally my journey has been just changing the way that I view or that I'm currently viewing chiropractic is just completely different to the way that I was looking at before because again, Sherman is a special place, I will say.
Mm.
And chiropractic is a special profession, but Sherman is definitely.
So if there's a prospect student that's thinking of what to do in their life and they decide chiropractic, what would you tell them to actually consider Sherman or choose Sherman?
I will say first thing that they're joining a amazing profession. Whether they choose Sherman or they choose another college, they're entering the right profession. Like this is a profession that literally you have the opportunity to help people in a deeper level. You know, like you're
Mm.
literally helping people to function better, which is just insane to think
Mm.
about. But I will say look into schools that are actually talking and teaching chiropractic. That's the biggest thing. Just
Mm.
go in the web, search when was chiropractic founded, what did the founder said that was chiropractic, and what schools are doing chiropractic, and
Mm.
you can pick.
It's a great one. With that said, how would you explain chiropractic then?
Chiropractic is simple. It's a philosophy, science, and art of things natural. It's a system of adjusting the segments of the spinal column by hand only for the correction of the cause of disease. It's super simple. We might see that there are multiple definitions around there, which I think words mean and have like a meaning, and whenever we start changing words to make it easier to understand, the meaning changes, you know?
Mm.
So that's why I think it's really important to stick to the words that, were there.
Yes.
But I feel like chiropractic is just us helping someone to release their innate potential.
Mm.
It's simple.
If there's a layperson listening to this and doesn't really understand the terminologies that you use, how would you further elaborate, or would you still stick to
Yeah.
the definition that's been written down?
I will explain a little bit of nervous system is the what controls everything on your
Mm.
body. Organs, function, muscles, everything in your body, literally. If there's an interference within that connection, you're not going to be functioning properly. The chiropractor's job is just to remove that interference and allow the body to do what it's supposed to do.
It's that simple, isn't it?
It's that simple. It's super simple. I think that people like to just complicate it, and I don't know why. It's super simple.
Now, for those who don't know, would you like to explain what is upper cervical chiropractic? Why did you decide to focus on the upper cervical when there among
Yeah.
all the other techniques?
Yeah. First thing, I would like to say there's no chiropractic works no matter the technique or no matter the approach, right?
Mm.
We're all having the same focus or the same goal at the end, which is removing vertebral subluxation, removing that nervous interference. But when I started diving a little bit deeper, obviously I started with my full spine techniques. That's the way that I started getting adjusted. And it was just the thing that I saw on social media. And I was like used to that. When I came to Sherman, I had a class which is called upper cervical rationale, where the professor, she just explained the neurology, all the muscles that are in the suboccipital area, and I was just like, why is no one looking into this? But basically, upper cervical, we're just focusing on the first two bones on the top of your neck, which basically in the middle of them, it sits your brainstem. Your brainstem is the one that controls basically all your autonomic functions. So all your autonomic, let's see, explain it in simple terms. So like everything that you're not thinking about. So like your digestion, how your heart is just pumping blood, all the things, right? So
Mm.
it just sits, the brainstem sits in between those two vertebrae. The thing is, which is super cool, when you see the rest of the spine, there's a lot of ways that the spine can limit movement. In the upper cervical spine, in development, the body doesn't have those mechanical locks because in the development, we need to rotate our head, right? So that means that that area is very unstable. So the misalignment or subluxation, as we call it, can happen more often rather than on the rest of the spine.
What would you advise, or is there anything that we can do to help hold the upper cervical adjustment longer in a way, since there's nothing there?
Yeah, so I will say just for the most part, obviously looking for a upper cervical chiropractor. For the second part, just taking care of yourself. So like whatever you're putting in the body is what your body has to work, you know? Your body's so amazing that if you put a burger in the body, it's gonna basically break it apart and use all the nutrients that it has. But now you use a burger or you take an apple, obviously the apple might have more nutrients. So just taking care of yourself, like exercising, eating the right food, you know, just like again, other than
Yes.
looking for upper cervical doctor and looking for a chiropractor that is taking care of your area, just taking care of yourself.
Now you're in your 13th quarter out of your 14, so someone's graduating soon, someone's opening up his
Almost.
practice soon. First of all, what's your most memorable memory time throughout your studies in Sherman College?
I will say the mission trips that I went to.
Tell me more about that.
Yes. So it's a definitely humbling experience when you're just seeing people that they might not have your same language. They literally don't understand what you're doing. They don't have access to other healthcare providers, but they just trust you. And they come with your babies and they just give you the baby like, hey, here it is. Do something with my baby. I trust you. But there was a time, us as chiropractors, it's really easy to think that we are the ones doing the adjustment because we're so good and we're just, you know, we're good in the technique and everything. So whenever you start adjusting someone, it's like really easy to just, you know, oh my God, yes, I'm the best chiropractor ever. Now, the thing is that we're just putting a force into the spine. The body is the one that is taking that force and doing what it needs to do to remove that subluxation, you know? So at some point, I just was in that mind space, and it just happened also in clinic that I was just like at the beginning, oh my God, I'm the best one. Look at me. I'm just doing the things. And then out of a sudden, my patients were not holding the adjustment. And I was like, oh my God, what is going on? What am I doing? You know, like I'm just about to graduate and I'm horrible at this, you know? But then I had a conversation with a doctor and he mentions to me, remember that you're not the one doing the adjustment. You're not the one doing the adjustment. And that just stuck in my head and it just changed my perspective. So I will say, other than also the mission trips, just like the clinic perspective of like school, which is like that last year, because you're actually doing what you're supposed to be doing in Cairo school.
Now, I'm going to challenge you throughout your journey in Sherman College or even before. What is your greatest advice you received from your mentors or even from life in general that you've reflected on?
Okay, I'm gonna say his name because you know him, Dr. Christian Caswell. I'm a little bit of an overthinker. I like to overthink everything and I'm like second guessing myself and I'm like, I have too many options. What should I do and everything? And he said to me once, whatever you decide to do, go 100%. Just like whatever you decide to do, and you can just apply that to whatever. If it's chiropractic, if it's associating, if it's opening your office, if it's, I don't know, whatever it is, just go 100%. And that just stick to me.
Well, did that advice arrive when you're deciding what to do after graduation or?
Yeah, exactly. I was talking about like, you know, the future and everything with Dr. Caswell, and he noticed that I was just like nervous and I was like, I don't know what to do. And he just like, hey man, just go 100%. Whatever you decide, it's okay. That's your decision. Just commit to it. Because I think what is cool about chiropractic is that you have the option to be also a entrepreneur and open your office. Or you can work a little bit for someone and then open your office, or you can stay as an associate for the rest of your life, which is awesome. But because we have so many options, you can get, you know, very, I call it like data paralysis, wherever we're like, oh my God, I don't know what to do. So yeah.
It's just more like there's the paradox of choice, isn't it? I can do everything then, and I'm like, hey, what do I do now?
Exactly,
Yeah,
exactly.
and that brings us to the next question, like when did you decide that okay, or why did you decide that okay, let's straight away open a practice and then serve the
Yeah.
people in Palm Bay?
So I will say, like, from the beginning, I wanted to be a business owner. I wanted to own my office, but then
Mm,
I think everything just kind of like happened at the same time. Whenever I was like doubting myself and like, oh my God, I'm not doing the adjustment and everything, I started thinking, should I associate? Am I not
mm.
worth it? You know? But after getting out of that headspace, I was like, you know what? I always wanted to open my office, and I feel like this is just my calling. So let's just go 100%.
How did you plan things out yourself from balancing like studies, your exams, shadowing, and then at the same time also like planning your route then?
Yeah, I will say having a support group is really important. I met my mentor through social media, actually. We just started developing a connection
Yeah.
in our relationship. He has been supporting me, and let me tell you, it's not easy. There's a lot to be done here in school, but
Mm,
also you need to plan for the future. But finding a support group is really important. I will say that at the beginning, I was thinking like, should I call my office Canales Chiropractic, or this is just my ego speaking? Like, this is I need to do something by myself. When I stepped back a little bit and I started realizing, no, like there's a mission. These people are doing the same thing that I want to do. Let's collaborate and work together. But
mm,
finding a support group is amazing. Organizing yourself and prioritizing everything. Here in Sherman, I don't know how is education there, and you can correct me, but this last year you're focusing on patients and you have less amount of classes.
yes.
You still have your board exams, which you need to study for those, but the class load is way
Yeah.
lower compared to like at the beginning.
Yes.
So definitely there's more space to actually sit down and start thinking and just like,
Mm,
I want this color, I want to find this type of or serve this
mm.
type of patient. But yeah, that's why I'll say like I had the opportunity to actually work this out.
What will be
Yeah.
your mindset or like key factor that you think is differentiating the people that's doing well in chiropractic school to start with, or the one
Yeah.
that actually just like doesn't?
I'll say, and this might sound a little cliche, here in Sherman, whenever you get here, you start hearing people asking you, what's your why? What's your why? What's your why? Meaning,
Mm,
why are you doing what you're doing? There has to be a bigger purpose that just, opening an office. There
mm,
has to be a bigger purpose to pass your classes. You know what I mean? Just like finding your why and actually sit down with yourself and ask yourself, why am I going through this? Because chiropractic school is not that easy. It's not that easy. But we voluntarily decided to put ourselves in this situation. So
mm.
the reason is like finding what's your why, what's your reason, what's your purpose, what do you want to achieve? Which,
So what's your
yeah.
why then, Javi?
What's my why? I really want to create leaders and empower people like those around me. I'm the type of people that if I need to step out of my comfort zone to make you better, I will do it. So I
Mm,
want to provide that for my team. I want to provide that for my people. I want to provide that for that community that I'm at. I want to just like help them break the old patterns that brought them to this situation and make them aware that hey, you are a leader not for those around you, but for yourself. You need
mm,
to take leadership within your life, within yourself, within your health, because there's people always around you that are counting on you. And in chiropractic, it's easy to think about like, oh yeah, there's back pain or whatever. But that back pain, what is stopping you from doing? Is it stopping you from playing with your kid? Is it stopping you from being a good boss, in your work? Because you're always thinking about like the pain, so you're like in a bad mood. It's just like bigger than what people might look at the beginning. So like
mm.
my why is just like empower people to become leaders in their life.
And why did you
Mhm.
choose Palm Bay?
Yeah, Palm Bay.
A family
So
member. Mm,
first thing, if I'm completely honest with you, this past winter, I'm from Puerto Rico, which is an island here in the Caribbean. The coldest is probably 67
mm,
in the winter.
mm,
The hottest, 120. That was my life for almost 23 years,
mm,
and I got really used to it. This past winter here was super cold. Like, it was super cold. So definitely I needed something a little bit southern. But I visited my fiance's grandma
mm,
in Thanksgiving. And we have been there multiple times, but we have never seen the town as maybe we can live here, you know?
Mm.
Started driving around and I was like, wow, okay, we kind of like this. The weather is nice. The type of people that I want to serve, you know, they're
Mm.
here. There's not a lot of chiropractors here. There's definitely like an underserved community. So I'm just want to be here and help these people. Yeah, Palm Bay.
Wow, wow. What would you wish you knew earlier before you started planning your chiropractic practice?
I will say systems. Like I didn't know how important it is to have a system or at least start thinking on the ways that you want to do things in your office, you
Mm.
know? So like, how do you want to talk to a patient whenever he comes into your office? What do you want to say? How do you want the layout? What do you want to be asked? All those little details that maybe you're not thinking. I think there is where the actual success of an office is. It resides in those little details, and also the importance of a coach. I come or coach, mentor, someone that can guide you and someone that has walked this path prior to yourself. I come from my sports background, so I always had the idea of like having a coach, but I didn't know that there were coaches within the chiropractic profession. And I was like, this is awesome. So finding the right coach for you. Yeah.
So how do you know the coach is right for you then?
I'll say first thing, coach or mentor, he will want you to be greater than themselves. If you have a coach or a mentor that is not pushing you to be better than themselves, that's not the right fit because you're always going to be underneath them. And you
Yeah.
need someone that is actually pushing you because he's seeing your potential and is sincerely wanting to help you.
Mm-mm-mm. And you found your is still
Yes,
current
yes.
mentor
So
via social media?
yeah, it was just like that. At the time, I was the president of a club here at Sherman, and I was just looking for people to talk in the club. I literally DM'd this guy, and after that, we just started talking and talking and talking and talking. And the type of relationship that he has, it might sound weird, the type of family that he has, the type of practice that he has, the way that he communicates, I was like, wow, I think I want to follow this guy, you know?
Mm,
That's
mm.
really important.
And with that said, what sort of books or resources you recommend to people then? Like students or
Within chiropractic,
yes, within chiropractic.
yes.
Go for that.
First thing, volume 14.
Mm.
That's the chiropractic textbook. Mine is somewhere around here. That book is just like you have to read it. It's hard to read through school because obviously you have tests, you have other stuff. But like at some point in your career, you need to read that book.
Mm.
Because again, it's a chiropractic textbook. You cannot call yourself a expert in chiropractic if you haven't read the textbook, you know?
Yes, yes, yes.
So that's definitely one. And I'm currently reading The Great Divide, and it's
Mm.
fantastic. It's fantastic. That's one of the other green books. That's volume 38, if I'm not mistaken. That one right here. I don't know. Oh, it's
Too
blurry,
blurred.
but
But we'll write it down in the description.
yeah. So those two for sure is a must read within
Mm.
the chiropractic. And oh, another one, and this one, literally, I read it as a second quarter and it just blew my mind. Blew my mind. I went to the library, I rented it, I read it, and recently I just bought it again because I wanted to have it personal. It's
Yes.
called Are You the Doctor from
Ooh.
Fred Barge.
Yeah.
That's such a great book, and it's gonna talk to you about what actually the word doctor mean, you know, and
Mm.
how you should behave, how you should communicate, how your patients are gonna look up to you, you know.
That's a good
So
book.
those three is a must.
What sort of resources you share to non-chiros then? Not, I'm not talking about students, but just the public in general.
Resources in what sense?
Websites or books, or do you read anything outside of chiropractic or just
Yeah,
kind
yeah,
of,
yeah. So another book that I read is How to Make Friends and Influence People. That book, I
Sounds
have read it
really.
like 3 times. That's such a great book. Yes,
Well, did you
it's
just pick it up yourself or someone recommended a book for you?
actually my fiance. She just gave it to me as a gift. I think whenever we started dating or as a something like that. And that was like 7 years ago, and I have read
Wow.
it 3 times. It's just amazing, and it's
Mm,
not like a complicated book or like a
yeah.
specific topic. It's just like how to be a good person. You know, how to hear the people, how to communicate with people. It's just like being a actual good human human being.
What's one
That
thing
book
that you
is,
remember that you learned from the book then?
I'll say
Mm,
how to hear and actually pay attention to what the other person is saying instead
mm,
of you thinking, oh, how am I gonna respond? You know?
Just being present and listening to what the person is
Exactly.
saying,
Being
isn't it?
present, connecting, and actually just paying genuine attention to the
Mm.
other person.
Now, if you have a billboard where everyone can read your message, where everyone can see it, what message will it say then?
If I have a what?
A billboard.
A
I mean,
billboard.
people don't use that now, but if you have a
Yeah.
billboard,
No, no, no. I know what it is. About myself?
what's the message that you want people to read then or understand?
Man, that's a good question. Let me think. I would like it to say, and I have it. This might be a little cliche. I just have it
Oh,
at it. Break the pattern.
break the pattern.
Break the pattern. There's
Hmm.
a lot of patterns in your life that are the ones that brought you into here. Obviously, we're breaking the old patterns. I think as human beings, as a person, we should be always evolving, and just like striving to be better. But break the pattern. I'll say that.
Was there a story behind that? Break the pattern.
I just got it tatted because I went back home this past break. And whenever you spend a lot of time outside of your where you grew up and you go
Yes.
back and you're like, wow,
Yes.
I'm not the same person.
Mm.
I'm not the same person as it used to be. And nothing bad or wrong. It's just like you grew, you are different.
Mm.
So I just, got this done just to remind me that it's always good to just sometimes just break the habit of the routine, breaking those patterns, just
Yeah.
striving to greatness.
It's amazing. Now we're coming towards
Yeah.
the end of the conversation. Before we wrap things up, where would be the best place for people to find you then?
I'll say first, you guys can just grab my phone number, 939-207-9674. Yeah, just text me or something. Also, my social media is, let me see if I cannot remember it. But you can find me on Instagram. If
Yes.
something, one second, because it's underscore J dot Ahmed Ahmed. That's my Instagram. You can
Yes.
just text me or whatever. But I'm always open to talk with people.
Yes, that's amazing. Put all your informations in the description below so people can reach out to you, talk about chiropractic, if there are students, if they want to
Absolutely.
open their practice, if they want to meet you in Palm Bay, whatever it is, they can
Yeah.
definitely reach out to you yourself. And before we stop recording, what is one sentence, one phrase you'd like to lift the listeners to?
What is one sentence that what?
That you like to leave the listeners or the
Okay.
audience?
You have good questions. Let me see. I think it's good to end up with what Christian said to me. Whatever you decide to do, just go 100%.
And that's a great way to wrap up the episode. So thank you so much, Javi, for sharing your story and also your experience, your knowledge. And definitely more things to delve into. And we will leave all your information. So anyone wants to reach out to you, definitely reach out. Super nice person, great person to speak to. And then we'll see you in the next episode then.
Absolutely. Thank you, Doc. Again, it's a pleasure for me to be here. And again, more than honored to be in your podcast. So thank you again for just thinking about me.
Yeah, that's amazing. We will speak real soon. Thank you for tuning in to the Life of Being podcast. Let us know what is your one key takeaway from this episode. And if this conversation inspired you, share it with a friend who might find it helpful today. Until next time, take care of your health and take care of your being.